Always Fitness Podcast, brought to you by certified personal trainer and nutritional consultant Patricia Sullivan and co-founder Patrick Foster. This podcast is intended to motivate, inspire, and educate our listeners. As we explore all topics related to health and fitness, join us weekly for new episodes.
Hey, welcome back.
Here we are.
All right, we're back to another podcast today. We got a great one for you.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the keys that you need. Consistency.
I like keys.
I know we do.
They unlock secrets.
I lose my keys all the time, though. But I don't want to lose this one because consistency is really a key to getting your goals done, no matter what those goals are.
Right.
Because, we are all bodies fitness, but we believe, obviously, like we've said before, that, we're not just about fitness as far as we got to exercise, and we got to eat right, which is important, both of those things, but we also got to get our mind right.
It's movement, nutrition, and mindset.
Yeah, because if you don't have the mindset, you're just going to fail, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see what has developed over the last couple of years. Just look at that frame of reference for me. Mm-hmm. And, I can physically see what has changed about me and my body, how I feel, but also how I think and also how I'm eating. So, but I can remember also that how daunting, how overwhelming the idea of changing was in the beginning, particularly because of the way that I like to have, and I don't know about a lot of people out there, but maybe it was just the way we were raised or because of the way the culture is, but we want that immediate gratification. We want the immediate result. We want, I mean, who hasn't ever seen the ad where, hey, get these 6-pack abs in 30 days, right? I mean, I bought into that. I was like, wow, yeah, it can happen, And it doesn't matter how much you believe it can happen.
Some a lot of work.
Some things are not going to be immediate. I mean, yeah, of course, there are things that happen immediately, but it's after a period of time and preparation.
And the consistency of doing the habits, right? I mean, I just want to think about one little thing that always struck me. When I was a kid, say, I don't know, 10 or so, 11, and we moved to a new home, and we needed a new rug for my room, which was going to be in the attic, which is, one of those attics that had the little slanty wall, that kind of thing, right? But I enjoyed it, and we needed a new rug up there, right? And my mom was a widow by then, right? Is it a widow or widower? Widow. By then, and 7 kids, and, not super easy. And I don't think credit cards was a big thing yet. I mean, now they are, but it was 40 years ago, or almost 40 years ago. So
7 kids. Wow, that's a lot, right?
I know, right? So it wasn't like an immediate budget to say, okay, we're going to go buy a new rug, right? It was like, okay, we're going to save up for this many weeks or whatever, and then we'll get the rug. And so we did. We saved up, and we were checking on it. And it's like, oh, we're close, because we knew we needed like $200 or $300. I don't remember exactly. And then when we got the money, we went and picked out the rug, and I picked out this pretty blue one. It's all
that's nice.
Soft and comfy and everything. And I was so excited. And then when I got the rug, I would like lay on my rug, I'd exercise on my rug, and have a great time on my rug, play with my dog.
Nice.
And it was like such a good feeling because we had consistently worked towards it, and then we got it, And I think that's what the thing is. I mean, once credit cards came, we were like, oh, we don't need to wait. We could just go buy things, right? And that takes something away from the experience of working towards or building towards something because you don't get that satisfaction of, oh, I finally got what I wanted. Because that anticipation is almost more fun than
the reward is much sweeter when you allow yourself to go through the struggle and grow and develop as a result of going through it.
Yeah, because you have to make choices, and we had consistently to make choices. Okay, we won't order out extra pizza or whatever, whatever it was to save that money this week, towards the rug, whatever, say it was like $25 a week or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I was little, but I know we had to save a certain amount of dollars every week. And it's like, okay, well, I like this. No, well, don't you want the rug? Oh yeah. Okay. We'll make the choice, And it's the same thing with anything you want. I mean, nowadays people want to be fit and healthy. And it's like, well, I don't like vegetables. Well, you know what? If you start eating them, you're going to like them. And that's going to require your mindset to say, okay, I consistently want to choose the healthy foods to take good care of this body so that in time, these small changes. I've heard
that a lot. I don't like doing that. So,
yeah.
And you know what? I know I can relate to that because that's how it began for me a couple of years ago. I didn't like the idea of having to go work out. I didn't like the idea of having to change my diet. I really didn't even like the idea of having to change my mindset because I didn't really believe that it would make a difference. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I still struggle with that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the patience, right? If you don't have that patience to say, okay, it's going to take time. When people first start working out, I don't know if you remember, but usually when you first start working out, say you're working out 3 times a week, that's a pretty good goal to say, right? 3 good weight training sessions and maybe an extra cardio or 2, whatever is your plan, right? But you start working out those 3 days a week of some resistance training, getting stronger. After 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to start feeling a difference.
Yeah.
But it takes that 2 or 3 weeks of consistent work before you feel any different. You're just going to feel tired and a little sore before that. Right? And so if you get past that, those 2 or 3 weeks, and you say, oh, I feel a little different, that's good. But we need another hit, right? We're not going to be satisfied with just feeling good. Now we got to see the inches or the pounds drop off. Or people say, hey, have you been working out? You look good.
You look different. Yeah.
And then after a couple of weeks more, you get that. And you're like, wow, this is working. You get another reward. And then you keep going, that kind of thing. So that's part of it, is that if you set these goals, you have to realize they're going to take time. So set the small goals towards your big ones so you can hit some badges or reward centers or whatever you want to call them, right? Some rewards to keep you going, because that consistency is so easy to drop off from if you forget why you're doing it. Yeah. And the changes that's going to happen, because they're not always immediate, like you said.
Well, one of the things that's difficult, and has been difficult even for me, has been the realization that these things are going to take time, and why would I want to get started when it's going to take so much time? You know what I mean? Well, why even bother? Why even bother? Right? But here's the reality with that, and what I've had to come to terms with in myself, and it helps me to see things more clearly, is that time is going to pass by
regardless. Anyway. Yeah, and you can feel better, or
not. so like I look back now, it's been a couple of years, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I've been putting in, the time to be, consistent, or be, willing to change and to, make that progress, because and then you reflect on sometimes it is pulling. All right. And that's what we're here to help you do.
Yeah.
We're trying to pull you in. Pull you in, right? Yeah. So the thing is, though, is that, when I look back and reflect on where I've come from, the reward is much sweeter.
Yeah.
Because you realize that, man, and you contemplate and you give a regard for a moment. What if I hadn't done any of this over the last 2 years? Where would I be?
Yeah.
Which is the same question in a kind of a sense that we could ask ourselves now, is if I don't do anything now to change where I'm at, where am I going to be in 2 years?
Yeah, that's the Dickens approach.
Right?
Yeah, like the Charles Dickens.
I mean, scare yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, we're over the Halloween hump. Right? I mean,
no, but that's the Christmas ghost telling Scrooge. Everybody knows the story of Charles Dickens wrote The Christmas Carol. That that Scrooge was a horrible, clutching, whatever, old soul sinner they called him, whatever. That all he cared about money, didn't care about people or anything else, and he got that gift of seeing what the future was if he didn't change. Right. He got a gift from the spirit of Christmas, past, present, and future, to show him how he's gotten to the bad state he's in, and where that's going to lead him, and how horrible it's going to be, even worse than it is now, or he could change, right? So I think we have to do that to ourselves a little bit too. It's like the stick, the carrot or the stick. It's like the stick pushing us, saying, oh, we got to push this cart as a donkey, or, the person driving the cart is going to hit us with the stick. Well, it's the same thing with our health, right? If we don't address this now, maybe we're pre-diabetic now, or just a little overweight, or, whatever it is you're dealing with. Everybody's dealing with different things.
I know, right? Everybody's dealing with something.
But whatever it is, it can get better. But if you don't change and you stay on the course that you're at, where does that lead to? Does that lead to diabetes, which leads to blindness, sometimes amputation, and ultimately death? And a lot of issues, limited mobility, can't go places to see sceneries and stuff because you can't walk. I mean, just so many issues, right? When if you change now and make it yourself a little uncomfortable, because it is a little bit hard, a little uncomfortable, and then start making those consistent small changes and right choices that are going to lead you to the better path, then you can change and reverse those things and say, wow, look how much better I am.
Right.
You know, like you've lost 30 pounds, right?
I have.
You know, in 2 years. And most people gain 30 pounds in 1 year.
Right.
You know, these days it seems like. And that's an amazing
And
feeling.
I can remember how that felt being over 200 plus pounds,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how that weighed on me. I mean, the weight was heavy.
Physical and mental.
You know, it does. It weighs on you because your body knows what's the best weight for it, really. You know, and I think, you know, because I know how my body is feeling so much better at the weight that I'm at, and you know, I can remember how it felt when I was 200 plus, you know, and now. You know, I know what I need to keep doing to have what I have now,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what to do to keep it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So,
That's that consistency of your habits.
right.
You know, what habits lead you to the path of feeling better. And, you know, if you're not where you want to be, you have to develop some new habits
Exactly.
that'll lead you to where you want. And it's all about that consistency and you know, to remind yourself every day because, you know, some days I don't want to get up early in the morning and, you know, go for a run or whatever. A lot of days I walk my daughter to school and I'm like, I just want to walk home and go.
Right.
I don't want to run, you know, but it's like if I have time, it's like, no, push yourself and run because you know you're going to feel better afterwards and you know it's going to ultimately be one of those habits that is going to pay off in the long run that keeps you fit.
And let's be perfectly honest here. I mean, we know that there's information out there all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, a lot of times what we've talked about is a confused mind will do nothing.
Exactly. So let's address that right after a quick break.
All right.
I love that
I'll
thought.
be right back.
I think.
Hey, we hope that you're enjoying this podcast, and as a special free bonus for our listeners, Patricia is going to tell you about our amazing 7-day workout challenge.
That's right. Do you want to feel energized and jazzed up for your day? You don't have to go to a gym to speed up your metabolism. With our 7-day challenge, you'll get a 15-minute exercise video emailed to you at 5 a.m. each of the 7 days. We'll encourage you and work on your mindset as we work on your muscles. Join us at allbodyfitness.click. That's CLICK.
All right. Welcome back.
Welcome
Hope
back.
you enjoyed that.
Yeah. I love what you just said. A confused mind will do nothing.
Right.
And that's so true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're bombarded from all these different directions with all this different information and material that says you should do it this way, you should do it that way, and this will work. And you know what? You don't need to do it this way. You can have results if you do this. You know, and you know it's like
Oh gosh. It's I don't know
really?
what to do. I'll just think about it later.
I don't believe any of it.
And sometimes, right? Well, I mean, there's a lot of confusion out there for a reason because, you know, everybody's pushing their own ideas, their own
I was hoping you were gonna
agendas.
bring that up.
Yeah, and sometimes it's you got to see who's putting that source out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there was an egg study that said, you know, eggs don't affect your cholesterol that much. And it was directly funded by, you know, the egg board, if you look back along the trail. And the whole thing is that if you already have a high cholesterol diet and you add one more egg, it doesn't change things much. But if you have like a very low cholesterol diet with no real means of cholesterol, not eating animal products, then you add an egg and it changes your cholesterol quite a bit. You know,
Yeah.
It changes things a lot. So, you know, they try and confuse you for a reason sometimes, you know. But we all know some key things, regardless of what you believe and what diet you want to follow. We all know some key things, right? We all know we have to move a little more, or at least some, not necessarily tons and tons, but you have to move some, get stronger and healthier,
You have to eat
and more
better.
fit. And we know we got to eat our fruits and vegetables. I mean, or at least our vegetables. Some people have this idea that you can't eat fruit, which bugs me.
And we have to think about things better.
And then
differently.
we have to change our mindset to say, yeah, well, maybe I don't love Brussels sprouts right now, but you know what? If I eat them a couple more times, I'm going to start liking
Right.
them. You know what I mean? Because it does take that. I mean, you know, think about bad habits that you've had.
I was just thinking that, like with
Yeah.
smoking, you know,
Yeah,
how,
perfect.
how often have you thought, man, I sure would like to kick this habit? I mean, and yet we keep feeding ourselves. Because I was a smoker, so
Me too.
I quit over 10 years ago, and it was the best decision, one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life, and I'm so grateful because who knows where I would be right now if I would have continued. And I don't even want to think about it.
No, we don't.
Because it doesn't make a difference, because now is what is really, you know,
All we have is now.
all we have. And that's all that matters. But anyway, the thing is, though, is that I can remember feeling like, man, I wish I could kick this habit. I wish I could, you know, not feel this way, and how, you know, all this stuff, right? And so it kind of
And-
goes along with what you were saying.
Yeah, and if you stop smoking, even for 3 days or whatever, I don't know how much it takes, but you go to have it again, and then it's like it tastes awful.
Yeah.
Then you realize, why am I always doing this thing that tastes awful and hurts my body?
Right.
You know, because it's a habit. It's relieving
and the
something.
same way in the other way is that if you start eating something that you're not really fond of, or but is good for you, and I know because let me give you a prime example for me.
Mm-hmm.
Tofu.
I love tofu.
I hated tofu. I hated it. I absolutely despised it. I was like, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating it. And it was like, now it's like I'd like to have it every day.
Yeah, see, it's like
it's so weird.
Change. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Isn't that weird?
I used to hate Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
Hate them.
Me too. I actually hate them. Now I love them.
And now I like them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I know this works. It's not like I'm trying to tell you to try something. You know what? Over time, you're gonna learn to like it. Like it isn't something I haven't done myself.
Yeah,
I have learned to like things that even working out. I didn't like working out. I didn't want to go work out. And, even now, sometimes I resist, but I know that it's good for me, and more often than not, that I do enjoy, and I look forward to going and working.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, okay, we're done for today, and you're like, really? Let's go more. Like, who are you?
and there were so many times in the past where it'd be like, are we done yet?
Yeah. So I still think that sometimes. I still want to make it short for your sake.
It's so weird. So actually, the thing is that when you're talking about consistency,
mm-hmm. That's a real one.
It's practicing perfectly, not practicing to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just doing a perfect practice of doing this consistently, so that you do it long enough so that you can begin to feel and notice the results, for yourself.
Yeah, have that little bit of patience, and I like to think of it as like trial and error, like anything else. I don't really see a big difference by getting up and 15 minutes earlier and going for a walk or run. What's 15 minutes? Well, think about it. 15 minutes could be 100, 150 calories, 200, depending on what you're doing and your whole situation, right? That's something. I mean, add that up over time.
Right.
You know what I mean? What is that going to do? Say you do that, you burn 150, 200 calories, whatever, and then you also replace, your French fries with carrot sticks. That's a huge change right there.
Yeah.
And those two small changes over time, you're going to lose a few pounds.
Right.
Just from two little things. So if you have a collection of small habits, start with one good thing at a time. That 15-minute workout, 15 minutes of morning meditation, whatever that, get your mind right, whatever it is for you, then you start with that habit and you build on it. Because once you start one habit that's making you feel better, you're going to want to add to those happy feelings. Don't you think? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know, like Jeannie, she loves listening to us at bedtime and listening to our podcast, and it makes her feel like she wakes up with a better attitude or whatever.
And I'm glad you brought up that whole idea of how we feel and how we, our attitude. And we love you, Jeannie.
Yep.
I love Jeannie's attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it when we were there visiting and we go for walks and stuff like that, and she's just all bubbly. And one of the things that we would like to offer you is a free report on we've put together 9 keys
mm-hmm.
that will help you overcome any kind of emotional imbalances or triggers, things like that. I know for me that emotions are very powerful, and you can become very passionate, and when they're triggered, your mind starts to think in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And oftentimes it's not positive. it can be overwhelmingly negative,
mm-hmm.
and the pull can be so powerful to take you down a path that's going to require you to eventually have to readjust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what these keys will do was give you some steps that you can take immediately when you start to notice yourself having these overwhelmingly powerful emotions, and give you some steps to take to challenge them and to write yourself into a course that is going to help you eventually overcome what it was that triggered that emotion in the first place, the obstacle,
mm-hmm.
the the struggle of whatever it was you were facing.
Yeah, because like Patrick was saying, you're going to eventually come around to feeling better. You
Yeah.
eventually come around to decide that you don't want to go into that, you don't want to be depressed anymore. You want to change.
Yeah, right.
So why not
I'm so
do it
tired
quickly?
of feeling this way.
Yeah, why not change quicker?
You can change quicker.
You can, and that's the amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to me. It's like, when my daughter was crying over the weekend on Saturday because she didn't have a play date she wanted. And I was like, okay, you can choose to focus on the fact that you're not getting what you want, and you really would love to, and you feel a sense of loss and sadness, and you can sit there and wallow in that, or you can decide, okay, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to focus on what I do have,
right,
and I'm having fun and finding something. Challenge myself to find something to have fun right now,
right?
And decide to change your focus, because it is really about a choice.
It is, and and it's powerful.
It's simple, but not easy.
Yeah. It's just as easy to do as it is not to do.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
unless you just want to continue to stay in that frame of mind and that mindset where, and some people do for years and years and years. I myself have been in that mode for a long period of time.
But that's not a good place to be.
No, it's not. And it's so powerful when you learn that you have control over how you're going to process it, perceive things,
mm-hmm.
and that you can choose to change how you're going to respond. I mean, it's such an amazing way to be able to just deal with any problem that you have.
Yeah, like this morning, one of my cats, I don't know which one, Tiger or Georgie, threw up on the rug. And it's like the little part of me that's like, I don't want to deal with this. Why do you have to do this now? I don't have time for this. I don't want to do this. And then I'm like, to that little part of me, I'm like, shut up, just do it. Just clean it up, get it done. It's over with. And then you feel better. It's like I decided to not focus on the annoyance and the, frustration of it. Focus on, let's clean it up, and okay, we're done. And I wonder how the cat's feeling now. And, just put your focus on something totally different. And then you feel better, and then before you know it, it's done. You know what I mean? Because it's not painful to deal with. It's just, your head starts telling you. Your head's very melodramatic.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it? It's like starts telling you all these stories of, this always happens to me. Oh, this is so horrible.
The chatter is very consistent.
It is. Eventually, we'll get rid of it, though.
The chatter in our minds is just constantly bombarding us with all these different thoughts, right?
Yeah, and you can quiet them by challenging them and say, hey, is that true? Does this always happen? Is this always a problem? Does this always happen to you? No, it doesn't.
That's why this nine key steps, in this report is going to be very powerful, a very, very powerful tool.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's looking to have access to that, just email us.
Yeah, email info@allbodiesfitness. And while you're doing that, though, please do enter in our contest.
Oh, yeah.
For the 100 reviews. We're trying to get Apple Podcast reviews here so that we are found more. We're in 8 countries, but we'd like to be in all of them, right? And and all the states in the United States too. And we're about in half, right? We'd love to have you do a review of our thing. Just scroll down to the end of all our episodes, and it says write a review. Write a little review for us. Give us 5-star ratings, and then in that email asking for the for those 9 keys that Patrick spoke of, just mention that you wrote a review, and we'll enter you into the drawing for their $25 gift card from Amazon as well.
And I'll tell you what, to make it even easier for people who, I don't want anybody to feel left out, because I feel left out because I have an Android, I don't have Apple. So, but if you have an Android phone, you can go to our Facebook page and you can write a review there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You can leave a little review on our Facebook page.
And we can enter them, yes.
Yeah, we can enter them.
Definitely. Yeah. We love you all. Definitely.
Yeah. She has the Apple, I have the Android. And they say that those phones are and those relationships are incompatible.
I think they mix together well. We're yin and yang. Well, what I love about, and this is not about phones, we're not sponsored with either phones, but his Galaxy.
Yeah, really. We're not getting paid anything. No. We're not affiliates.
No, we're not.
Anything.
But your Galaxy does have better picture quality, it seems like.
Yeah.
Taking pictures and videos than my Apple. Plus, I don't know how sometimes I get it from my phone to other places when yours you can hook it.
Right.
So some have, mine has certain things, yours has certain things, so I think they balance each other out.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, we're recording this on the Android, so
Exactly.
and it does have its benefits.
Well, I like your phone. It's just used to Apple. I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
How did we get off that?
I don't know. But I mean,
The
that's
topic
that's one of the things
consistency.
because if you're I know, right, going to that. But one of the things about consistency, before we finish this thought, is that it is a choice. It's not always easy, right?
No.
You have to remind yourself sometimes daily. That's why I think journaling is great in the morning, to kind of give you a couple minutes to realize what you want and why you're doing it. You know what I mean? So that you can stay consistent, because it's not easy. It's easy to get a quick, like, oh yeah, I want to do this. But then I've seen it with my clients and gyms a million times. They get all gung-ho about working out. They want to do it. They want to get in shape. They love working out. This is great. I'm going to do workouts every day.
Right.
And then like next week, oh, well, I'm just going to do 5 days. And then, 3 days. Okay. And then, well, maybe once a week,
And then it's time to cancel.
Yeah, and then they just disappear off the face of the earth. What happened to them? I don't know where
Right.
they went. And sometimes they come back a couple months later. But I mean, consistency is not easy. We act like it is, and it's really not super easy. But it does pay off in the long run. And if you can remind yourself why you're doing it, the pain that will happen if you don't, and the pleasure that will happen if you do, then that'll drive you.
And what's really also very powerful about the idea of consistency is that if you find yourself having fallen off the edge of the cliff into the abyss,
Falling off the wagon of whatever.
and you're not even doing anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you get started again, restarting is a continuation of consistency that you began, because you're going to pick up from where you were before, and you're going to keep moving forward, and with just that consistent mindset.
And it's easier the second time sometimes.
Yeah.
If you think about, gosh, it was a long time ago, but learn algebra or whatever, it's like you forget it over the summer, and then the next year you go back to school and you have to take algebra 2 or whatever. It's like the second time you relearn it, it's like, aha, I do remember this. Does this does make sense. Same thing with exercise. It's like if you stop doing it for a while and then you go to do it, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. I like that. It makes me feel X way.
Right.
Or I ate the right things. Because we forget all the time. It's like I forget that if I eat too much, raw cashews, that I'm gonna have gas, pain, and bloating. That's gonna be a problem. It's like we forget. I forget that if I eat Halloween candy, that I feel kind of awful the next day.
Yeah, that's why even we listen to things over and over again. We like to be reminded on a regular basis of the path that we need to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have mentors and coaches that help us stay on course. Stay the course.
Yeah, just like we help you all, because, like you said, it's like you need that reminder, because we all know things, and it's easy to say, oh yeah, I know that, but we forget.
It's easy to get sidetracked.
Yeah,
it's easy to slip into a way of thinking that pulls us away from what was our intended course.
Yeah, that's true. And we all need those reminders to get us back on track and to refocus. Because
and the faster you get on track again, the quicker the results that you were looking for are going to come.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all fall short and fall off the wagon, or give ourselves a cheat day or whatever. But like people have said, oh, I screwed up my diet, so I'm going to just start again on Monday. I'm like, why wait that long? Why wait 3 days? Why not just start?
Do something today.
Again today, or in an hour. Give yourself an hour to cheat, or something like that, right? That way you can have a little more control and not fall off as far.
And that's what the key to all this is having control. And that's what I love about that those 9 steps, is that it focuses on you having control. And when you feel that you have control, rather than being controlled by outside situations, circumstances, or internal conflicts, there's some liberty and freedom in that is just like it's an amazing feeling. To know.
Exactly, because we all know some of these things sometimes, but it's like you forget, and it's just like maybe this time when you hear it, it'll finally click. Like, oh yeah, why don't I do that?
Yeah.
Why don't I change? Why don't I try this way? Why don't I feel a little better that way? Why don't I give it a shot? And it's like, because we know it, but we just forget, and then we don't do it. And it's like, oh yeah, I know I should eat my vegetables. I know I should work out. Oh yeah, I should. And then we all should ourselves all over the day. don't want to shit all over yourselves, with these shoulds, Let's make it like, okay, consistency. I must do these small habits, and it's okay to start small sometimes, and change one thing, and then and keep building, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can reach new levels and new heights in the way that you think, and the way that you feel, and the way that you act, and you're just going to be looking back and going, wow, really?
Yeah.
I guess I really have made a lot of progress.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't see it in yourself as much as other people may. Somebody that hasn't seen you in a while will be like, wow, you look good, or you seem so much more peaceful. You seem so much more at ease. What's going on with you?
What have you been doing?
Yeah, I want whatever that is. Give me some of that. You're like, well, sorry, it's not a pill I could just give you. Can't go to your doctor and ask for a prescription for that. But you can have it. So that's the thing, is that we do have that control over how we process.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right.
Well, I guess we reached our 30-minute mark.
Yeah, we better let these people go back on their lives. And
we're looking forward to connecting with you again next week.
Yeah, definitely leave us that review.
Do we even have a topic for next week?
Yes, I always have topics in my head.
What's going on? Oh, do we know yet? We don't know. We haven't.
Well, we didn't have a meeting to discuss the different order of going to do them.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah.
Well, we know for sure that we're going to try. And we're not even going to try. We're going to do the consistent thing by being here. So we'll be here next week.
That's right. All right. Good job. All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If we added value for you, please let us know. Give us a rating, leave us feedback, or email us at info@allbodiesfitness.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future podcasts.